I still feel like I'm doing like ASMR. Like I'm like leaned over. I'm like leaned over on my desk right now. Like, hello everybody. Welcome to the Video Game Choo Choo podcast. My parents will yell at me if I am too loud. So,
we'll just hunch over our microphones too, and that way you don't feel like you're alone. All of our moms are all yelling at us right now.
I'm yelling
if we
at
get
you
too
right
loud.
Now.
I think they're watching some racist cowboy movie out there. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't care.
Which racist cowboy movie?
I don't know. It's just when I went out there to get some water, it was like some cowboy movie, and just knowing them,
how old did
it's
it
probably
seem?
racist.
How old did it seem?
Pretty recent.
Okay, so it's probably a little more. I mean, I don't want to like say for certain, because there's definitely the influx of like weird right wing like reclaiming of the cowboy to do the cool shooty man. But like, I would say a lot of modern westerns have been a lot more critical of the the cowboy the cowboy genre, as it were, and have sort of used it in order to comment on a lot more contemporary issues.
That's true, but John did just walk out there, and the cowboy did say, "Damn, it is 2012, and you know what's in my craw? The Vietnamese."
No.
And it's just all downhill from there.
I feel my brain is poisoned because I'm looking at my Google search of cowboy movies, and one of the ones I just saw was Hidalgo, and of course I read it as Hidalgo.
We gotta go watch the film Hidalgo.
John, who are we?
Hi folks, it's time for the Video Game Choo Choo podcast. It's me, John. I'm the host, and I'm here to talk about video games with my two lovely friends. We have Solon.
Hey, I feel like I've made a mistake already. I'm here with Scott.
What's popping, gamers?
Wow, what? You made a mistake?
Wait, no, hey, hold on. You said I made a mistake already, and then I'm here with Scott, as if those two are related.
No, they're completely related. That was exactly... I don't want that to be taken any other way. I'm here with my friend Scott. This is a mistake.
Okay.
I accept your apology.
I'll send it in the mail.
God. So, folks, video games are happening continuously, and, after last week, and now this week, it could be argued that is a bad thing. I don't know if we want to just get right into the heavy stuff.
I think we...
Or not.
I'm not to host around you, but I think we should chill out and talk about some cool games first.
Yeah, 1 million games came out this week.
And
look,
we didn't
that's
play
fine.
many.
Yeah, we didn't. I mean, that's why I asked. That was it. That was a question, not a demand.
Yeah.
So that is fine.
I like to start nice and then ramp up to the heavy stuff, because I have been hosting this podcast a couple times, so the last few times I had to deal with some really heavy stuff. So let's go in nice and cool.
That's fine. So I guess we could start off by talking about some games that we've been playing lately. Scott, we can start off with you. You got into the Back 4 Blood beta, alpha, whatever Greek alphabet letter it is. So that's that new game that's like Left 4 Dead, but not exactly. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's a lot like Left 4 Dead. A bunch of us actually got codes for it. We're planning. I say we're planning, and then I remember this podcast comes out on Mondays. But we're gonna have played more of it by the time this comes out, so we'll have some more coalesced opinions. Should maybe look at our Twitch, see if we have a VOD up of that. I don't know if we've done it yet. I don't know if something bad happened. But I did get to play a little bit of it already, and it is extremely Left 4 Dead, but also I feel like it kind of loses a bit of what makes Left 4 Dead kind of like so much of a tight experience, because it's trying to go for a more I guess games as a service type of approach, where you're essentially unlocking new stuff and as you're going round by round, you're using different cards to unlock different perks, like during rounds, and it's like it seems like the kind of thing where you can really customize the experience. Like just to jump in, like y'all are pretty familiar with Left 4 Dead. It's really hard not to be at this point if you've played video games at all during the 2000s.
Yeah, the popularity of Left 4 Dead is that it is still one of the most popular and played games ever.
Yes.
I don't think we can understate that there has been nothing like Left 4 Dead since that game came out.
And things have tried. Things have seriously tried and have not landed in the same way.
And my expectations are about, Back 4 Blood by WB Games. It's going to be probably, maybe another one of those, but if it's a little better, that's great. The folks want that.
The thing about Back 4 Blood is that it has the prestige of the Left 4 Dead creators, and that's supposed to be the big drawing point, or like the selling point of like, hey, these are the people who know how to make this kind of game fun. And that is, like, that's definitely appealing. Like, I like, far be it from me to say, like, if they did announce a new Left 4 Dead, I wouldn't immediately be interested in some way or another, even though Left 4 Dead is a property that is, like, extremely old at this point, and is extremely played. But Back 4 Blood tries to bring back that formula and add newer, I don't want to say newer design sensibilities, but more like servicey design sensibilities. It takes the unique character aspect of Left 4 Dead, where you join into a game and you take the role of one of 4 characters who are ostensibly characters who are all fully voiced and have like their own quips and their own relationships with each other. But it takes it the logical step further and turns them into characters. It turns them into heroes. Like, they have their own, like, different mechanical, like, they have their own mechanical differences. Like, they tend to like, have a different starting perks, but for the most part, play pretty much the same. The character, I forget her name. Is it just grandma or mama or something?
There is like a grandma. Yeah,
there's a grandma.
Mom character.
Yeah. Her perk is that she starts with a sawed-off shotgun. That's just her gun that she has. And it's like, I played around as a dude who was just like chunky and had like glasses. And I was like, yeah, that looks like the kind of guy I want to play as. And I picked him, and his thing was like, I start the game and I have like an extra ammo drop for people. And then like, for some reason, I kind of got the impression that he was like a weird libertarian guy or something, just by the way he talked. I don't necessarily know if that's true, but like, there's
personality to them. You feel like there's some character that they're trying to build around these guys.
Yeah, I probably need to play more to really feel like I get a sense of character. They're definitely very talkative, and they want to reinforce that these characters have their own like unique personalities, but they're not nearly as well defined as Left 4 Dead characters. Like the thing you can do in this that you don't really do in Left 4 Dead is, since it's more of a hero shooter, you pick your heroes before you start instead of it being like a set cast, and then you like pick the perks to go along with it. You essentially get like you essentially unlock like perk cards, and then you like make a deck of those cards, and then they sort of, I don't know why they added a deck building element to it, but between rounds, like, you draw one of those, you draw, like, one or a couple of those perk cards, and then you pick the ones you want to use. One of the perks that I got was, you remember how in Left 4 Dead, there are melee weapons, but there's also, like, a melee attack, like a shove to just kind of, like, get enemies off of you? Mm-hmm. This perk replaced that shove with just, like, a knife attack. And it's like a stab where you like stab them in the face. Because, the reason that is a useful thing to have is that they changed the way weapons slot. And I think it might be different between characters, but, instead of having a dedicated melee weapon slot, you just have like 2 weapon slots. One of them is a pistol, and or melee, and the other is like your larger weapon, which is kind of annoying because like one of the cool things about Left 4 Dead was just there are waves where the smart thing to do is pull out your machete and just try and like take out as many of them as possible because you don't really necessarily have like the ammo to do it, you know, or you want to conserve your ammo because you have like a big, you know, there a big wave is coming, and it like I never necessarily felt like that same kind of crunch existed. Like Left 4 Dead sets up really interesting like scenarios where you start around and then like the only thing that you have available to you is here's a bunch of melee weapons or here's a bunch of pistols. And then the starting round becomes trying to make it through that round using like the bare minimum of weapons. And then you get like the tier 1 weapons, like the really crappy Uzi or the tier 1 shotgun. And those are like, you know, they're not great weapons, but they're like significant upgrades to just having a pistol. And that like, there's that kind of dynamic that makes like playing the early rounds of Left 4 Dead really, really interesting. And that just doesn't exist in this because in the first round, I found like a really good assault rifle and then I didn't swap it out at all, like throughout the rest of the game throughout like the rest of the game I played. And, this does have the addition of like, attachments. Like you can find like, you know, nozzles and like clips and like all the things you would put on guns, like sights, like laser sights, whatever. You can find. Yeah,
this is sounding a lot like, you know, Apex Legends and other kinds of those battle royale games as a service. Like you have a gun, you're just going to build it up with rare and, you know, blue and yellow drops codifying their rarity or how the stats, the numbers go up.
But at the same time, you can also find just straight up better guns. And, but like, by virtue of me just having a really good, strong, like reliable assault rifle, I didn't feel like I really needed to swap it out with anything else. And it
I'm sorry you got lucky.
And it like,
that's a shame.
But like my other teammates were like swapping out weapons, like they would find different assault rifles and swap them around, like try them out. And I'm just like, this one just kind of works for me. I think I'm good. And it's like, eventually I added like armor piercing, like ammo to it. And it's like, that's, you know, that's cool, whatever. But like, it's the kind of thing where it's like, I'm not feeling the diversity of weapons, like from the jump. And there are a lot of weapons. Like there's a training range as soon as you start and you can go and experiment with all of them and mess around, but like,
yeah, I played with that. There was a lot of fun little weapons in there. I really enjoyed playing around in that area.
There's a bunch of things, but it's like, it feels like if you just find a good, reliable weapon, you're not really going to take the chance to like, oh, here's the very big sniper rifle. I swap for that, and then, then dealing with normal zombies, I just kind of have to have a pistol. Like, I guess you could do that, but you know, it's more helpful. It's just like an assault rifle that kills everything very quickly. It's, I don't know. I want to try more of it. I want to see if like more of the diversity comes into play. Like the beauty of Left 4 Dead is like each of those levels, each of those like stages within a level feels really unique, and there's like a real ebb and flow to what you're finding and like what you're replacing and like how you're progressing through not just like setting up a build, but also like how your whole team is progressing. In this, it felt like the first 3 stages I played were just mindless shooting. Like there were very little special infected at all. It was just like, really? just like mindlessly shooting some like mostly zombies, and there was like some scripted tank encounters that were kind of interesting, but like I don't know, like it wasn't really.
Yeah, no, Left 4 Dead's all about those map moments that you have.
Yeah,
it's like a theme park where it's like they expect you, hey, if they get to this area and this thing is happening, then you know we're gonna divert everybody using the director of the AI. We're going to divert everyone into a little tiny house and, throw a bunch of zombies at them and make it a moment for them.
Yeah, and they definitely tried to have set piece moments like that, but for the most part, it felt like just mostly mindless shooting.
Weird.
I will say in the last level that we played, we got a really cool, unique set of objectives, like make it across a bridge, and then once you get across the bridge, like there's a bridge, there's a ship that's stuck, and it's overrun with infected, and in order to survive, you need to blow up this ship. And it's you need to take 2 separate explosives and bring them to 2 separate places, which means your team needs to split up into 2 groups in order to go and do it. And it was a really cool, really dynamic encounter. Whereas all the other encounters before this were just okay, stand here and shoot a wave of zombies that are coming at you. And
sure.
And I don't know, if the game is full of more moments like that, then it'll feel like a really good Left 4 Dead successor. But for the most part, like I said before, it just kind of felt very mindless. And that on top of just having a very games as a service structure is probably going to be the death knell of it. If it can't attract a player base that's really interested in staying with it,
Oh,
who knows?
They've attracted a player base. Don't worry.
Yeah,
I was just shocked to see how the Twitch drop system worked for this game.
Yeah.
Where you watch the game for an hour and then they give you a code, which means you're already, invested in. That's how they get you.
People want to play free games, turns out.
And then they give you 4 more codes on top of that to get all of your friends in for Back 4 Blood. Very smart, very clever, but also oh no, they're getting real serious about giving out a bazillion codes to a billion people to get a player base jump started immediately.
4 codes in Back 4 Blood, and this beta only lasts 4 days.
This is brand synergy.
What?
The thing that sticks out to me, Scott, about you talking about this game, and I've just been finding this with tons and tons of shooters where the mechanics feel almost over thought through. There's so much, you're talking about Left 4 Dead originally, the whole thing was, hey, there's a gun, and then later on you can get a bigger gun. And it's just the exact same gun, but it's got better numbers in it.
Right.
And you get the same gun every time. No overthinking there at all. Just, hey, do you want the shotgun or do you want the good shotgun? Oh, I'll take the good shotgun. Thank you, video game. I feel good. That part's weird. The thing that's really weird, though, is that of all the things to overthink, why would they add a bunch of characters into this game where the entire theme of Left 4 Dead was how shocking it was that people could make relationships in a zombie infestation? The natural way of having 4 characters in Left 4 Dead that met inside of this whole thing, and you get to watch as their things play out without you. You don't get to pick your character. You don't get to decide I want to play as this person with this loadout or anything. You're just a normal person and you're trying to get through this, and in the background as a kind of static thing in the background, relationships happen. Friendships are made and allyships and little character quirks come out as you play through the game over and over, and it's genius. And so to see Back 4 Blood being no, we want character loadouts and we want people to, like this person and want to pick this character for their special quirk. It's that's really weird.
I don't necessarily know if that's the full extent of it, because these are characters that have their own characterization as well, and they're doing the same thing they would do in Left 4 Dead, where they're talking, they're intermingling with each other, and they're sort of they're sort of talking about themselves as they go. And I think the thing that it does pretty well is even though it is to an extent a hero shooter, all of these characters do feel grounded people. They don't feel I'm the big bad super shooter. It's more I'm the grandma, or I'm just normal guy. It feels like a cast of normal people.
Okay. Yeah, no, that was... I was worried that they were going to try to force this whole, like, character dynamic that was such a natural thing in Left 4 Dead.
I can't really speak on that yet. I feel like I have to play more of the game to, like, really get a handle on how well that characterization, like, works or doesn't work. But, like, to an extent, I'll say, like, it felt like there were moments in the campaign we played where it's like, yeah, like, the character that I'm playing as is, like, talking about some real heavy stuff happening in their life, and then the other characters are reacting to it in a way that feels natural. And it's not the same as, like, the goofy, like, coach and everyone, like, goofing around with each other, but...
Yep. Getting Coach and Ellis hanging out.
Yeah. I feel like this game definitely needs more levity as well, but we'll see if there's really more of that. I picked up lots of propane tanks and I was able to throw them.
Well, there we go. All right, sold.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for the rundown there. I'm a little interested in it. I was really into Left 4 Dead 2 when I was in like middle school, high school. That was a game that I was absolutely fucking obsessed with. I got like almost every achievement on Xbox.
Yeah. Here's the thing is like I also played a ton of Left 4 Dead, but like I don't know if I would nowadays. Like I think I would definitely boot up a campaign with some friends and like go in there, but like I played it so much. And the ironic thing is like if I wanted to play a game like that now, I would definitely want more progression systems like that a thing like Back 4 Blood has, even though I don't feel like those progression systems are super meaningful right now. But yeah, it's weird. Like I want games where the numbers go up.
Sure.
It's so funny. I have one of my coworkers, one of the teachers that works in the school, she still plays Left 4 Dead regularly with a clan.
That rocks.
And it's sick as hell hearing that she's still got war stories of, recent ones of them having good games together. It's, there's still nothing like it. It's just really good.
I bet there's some pretty good, like, custom maps and all that, too.
Yeah. They're still just playing vanilla, like, the Left 4 Dead 2. That's just what they play. What?
Sure, that game is still good even then, No, that game is endlessly replayable. It fucking whips. It's a really good game. Alright, Solon, do you want to talk to us about something that you've been playing?
Yeah, completely different aesthetic. Completely opposite, 180 degrees. We're not fighting zombies. I've got this cute little indie game that we got to see during Wholesome Games, and it's called Button City. It's a game, I'm going to have a review out for it, probably about the day after, I think is when the embargo lifts on finished reviews. And so on Monday you'll have a nice, beautiful, fancy, cute review. But Button City is just a very short, quick, 5-hour-long adventure game where you play as a little fox who's brand new to the city, brand new to this town, just moved in, and they find an arcade, and that arcade's called Button City, and everyone there is playing this little tiny MOBA game called Goba Bots, and it's a collector's, like, you get little action figures, and you log into the MOBA to play with, like, 7 other people that are with you in the arcade, and it's just very cute, simple, down-to-earth, wholesome. The crux of the plot is that you get really involved in Button City and you meet all these new friends and get to hang out with them. And then all of a sudden you find out, Button City is about to be sold to a big rich guy who wants to turn it into a big box store. And so you gotta figure out through hijinks like a teen movie, like a 90s teen movie. You gotta figure out how to Home Alone this fat cat into some kind of, situation. You get into hijinks, you gotta overthrow this rich guy and get him to not
you
sell
gotta
your...
UHF this.
You gotta UHF this. Yep. The kids all get together and they decide they're gonna make the whole place look like a haunted house so that it can't be sold for any money. And so just very simple, cutesy stories like this. It's not trying to overly think or overly not overly think, but it's not trying to challenge you're going to come out with this with a whole new worldview. What gets me about Button City that I wasn't expecting was, there's a couple of mini games in there that are very, well thought out. And there's a racing one, there's a DDR style, rhythm game, arcade style thing. And then there's this MOBA that's the kind of the centerpiece of the whole game. And all three of them are really well put together in a way that doesn't overshadow the entire thing. The racing game is very Initial D inspired, where you're going to spend a lot of time doing downhill drifting and holding turbo buttons. The rhythm game has just enough music and just enough things going on in it where you're not going to spend a whole bunch of time in it, but it still has modifiers for speeding up your arrows and making notes disappear, and there's a bunch of little modalities to it that are just hey, thanks for these nice touches that I can really get into without having to overshadow the entire game. The whole goal of playing Button City was you're going to spend an afternoon doing this, and then you're going to go and do something else. And it's just a very relaxing game. There's nothing too over the top about it, and there's nothing that doesn't feel out of place, It's got this gorgeous aesthetic where it's just all cell shaded and brightly colored, very flat 90s cartoon aesthetic to it that it just, it gives me all of the right feelings and emotions. Normally I would want my adventure games to have a little more teeth to it, like a Night in the Woods kind of thing, or Donut Valley? Not Donut Valley. Yeah, that's what it's called. Those are games that are kind of in the same style, but have a little more grit to them. But this doesn't have that. So it's something where I could just be hey, this is something that little kids could play and still really enjoy. And I had a good time playing it too. I've got a couple of people that I'm yeah, you know what? I'm going to make sure I recommend Button City to you because this is their kind of thing. And so, it's cool. I had a good time and it was just a nice afternoon. You know how all those people said, I want short games that, are made by people who are paid better and work less, and I want them to suck, and I'm not joking. I don't remember the whole line is, but, yeah, that thing. I very much vibe with that, and that's kind of how I feel Button City. It hits that idea.
Well, maybe not the sucking part.
It's, what is it? It is, I want shorter games that look worse, that are made by people who are paid more to do less. That's what it is.
Yes.
And I'm not kidding. Yeah, that's, it lands right there, and it's just you play it, and you're yeah, I don't feel anyone had to, go way out of their way to, work harder than what this is absolutely worth, and it's worth quite a bit. They get so much mileage out of some very cool and simple presentations, or things that look simple. They obviously on the execution side that it's polished really nicely. I don't have an easy way to just say, hey, this thing looks quirky and cute, but underneath it, it's pretty powerful. They can do a lot with this system.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds nice. It's good to have the smaller, silly little games, It's good to have that sort of thing.
I'm going to spend just as much time with Back for Blood as I am going to spend with Button City. I know that, and they're going to be completely different experiences.
I guess I could talk about, let's do some news, and then we can circle back around to some more games that we've been playing. How about that? So I'll posit this again. Would you like to get to the heavy stuff now, or would you like to save that for later?
Whatever you want to do, King.
Okay.
I'm ready. Go for it.
All right. So, in the wake of the Blizzard controversies that have transpired over the past few weeks, which we do have a small update on that aspect, which we'll touch upon. I guess we could just real quick mention that J. Allen Brack has left the company.
He was the president of Blizzard?
He was the president of Blizzard, and now, effective immediately, Jen O'Neill and Mike Ibarra are in charge of Blizzard.
It's also weird because he was especially a very public facing representative for games like Overwatch and like and stuff like that. But I guess when you're the president, you kind of have to be that role. Good, honestly, good. Like great, get out of here. Like I like his complicity in everything that's happened is like the entire situation is shocking, and we went over it a whole bunch last week, but it's like we're still hearing new stories about stuff that happened with the like really awful like frat boy culture in Blizzard Activision. Like a story just came out where apparently they just constantly like had like free flowing booze and like margaritas specifically to specifically to set up a very loose environment where like men would feel okay groping women, and it's like fucking disgusting. Like, I'm just done with this company. Yeah,
it's purely revolting. It's really frustrating that this stuff is happening, but you know, it is good that it is being addressed now, and it is good that these people are getting out of this company. It's going to take a while to excise it, but then at the same time, there are still a lot of people up at the top of this company that are still in control, that are awful, awful people. I mean, even like divorced from this current controversy. I mean, you know, this controversy that isn't just current; it has been going on for ages. Like, one of the higher ups at Activision Blizzard is like an ex-Bush admin who very much like oversaw a shit ton of torture that the United States perpetrated. Like, these are the people that are in charge of this company. You know, Bobby Kotick is like, I mean, I'm sure that you all talked about a lot of this last week, but you know, like Bobby Kotick is like just out here trying to cover his ass. Yeah. You know, quote unquote apologizing, even though there's no way he's going to do anything, and he's hiring union busters. But like, dude was in Richard Epstein's Black Book. Like, fucking all of these people are deplorable, and they have no place in good society whatsoever. That includes the games industry. So, fuck them.
One of the ones that got me today was the Bloomberg put down a new whole set of stories today about this, and the one of the ones that stuck out to me was how they were able to showcase how many higher ups remarried to employees in their own business over the last like 8 or 9 years. And not that it happened once, but it happened like a bunch of times where like people are getting married to their associates that are underneath them. And I was like, wow, that it was a very edifying, clarifying moment for me that this is what that system looks like when that system is being abused. Because that's not a thing that's, you know, marrying a coworker does not sound inherently like a bad thing. But as it's built out on a systematic level where you are marrying and divorcing associates that you worked for or that you worked with, that's very bad. That is not a good precedence, and that's not healthy.
It has like a very meat market vibe to it, which is just disgusting.
Yeah, it's when it's this regular thing that is happening like constantly, and you know, like that is when it becomes a problem. Because yeah, it really seems like Blizzard, just as a company, you know, they were making games, but it seems like something that they very explicitly set out to do in their workplace was hook up. Like, that is what, like, the higher up men were just like, hey, we want to have this environment to work out, to hook up with women. Like, that is just what they wanted to do. That is just such an unhealthy way to live your life, to impose. That is a horrible thing to impose on other people who are just trying to, you know, make games. They're just there to work. Like, and you're using your stature as a higher up person to abuse that. It's foul. So yeah, this is you know, this is very much not just like, oh, Blizzard's got some bad people running it. Like, this very much seems like it is systemic throughout the entire company, and like has been a problem since it pretty like I don't know if I'd say there's like an exact time it started, but good lord, it seems like it's been like this forever, and that is just fucked.
I'm wondering if this will completely kill Blizzard. Just because I don't know how I would manage to play a Blizzard game without thinking, hey, I think the people that made this were heavily abused.
We talked about like this. We talked about this prospect last week, and like the thing about it is like companies like this that are so big are not necessarily going to crumble. Like there is a possibility of this company losing a lot of revenue simply by the prospect of their workers walking out. And that, good. That's what you want in a situation like this. But for the most part, what companies like this are going to do is they're gonna fire people who they can best scapegoat, and then try to move on as business as usual as possible. They'll get rid of as many people as they can to satisfy the larger base, and then pay lip service to, hey, here's how we're going to do better. And just even addressing it is a good way of at least making a meaningful change. And and now that it's out there, there's less of a chance of it happening in the future. But as soon as everyone gets back into their offices and gets back to work, it's just going to be, they're going to try and get people to just back to normal as soon as possible.
So that's, under normal circumstances, I feel that, I get that, and, makes me nervous in a couple of different ways. But because of where Blizzard is at specifically, in a transitionary period where all of their properties are going under outside of this as well. Yeah. You've got World of Warcraft is hemorrhaging users to Final Fantasy XIV and to anywhere else, really. You've got Overwatch, which was supposed to be transitioning to a second game. That's gotten pushed out because of the pandemic, and I don't know if people are going to come back to a new game after that, because Overwatch proper, the original one, has been also falling way out of grace because every update they've had for the last 2 years almost has been, not really bringing in a lot of people, and people have been getting alienated from that series. And then there's Diablo. They wanted to do a whole revive of Diablo 2, and that's supposed to be in pre-orders, but now people are pulling their pre-orders. And on top of that, the last couple Diablo things, they weren't going great. There was the Warcraft 3 remaster. That fell apart completely. It was a disaster. I'm wondering, in a Blizzard-specific capacity, if they can survive all of that. Because it's gonna be a trip to... Yeah, a trip and a half to get that back on track.
Even then, that's sort of incidental to what's going on. But I think it's all related, yeah. There's definitely a possibility of, Blizzard tanks, and then it's just, bought out.
And then there's their relationship to Activision, of course, is also a part of this. That's that's not a great relationship right now because they've been so on their own for so long.
Sure.
That if they become a liability to Activision, now the relationship changes. Instead of being their golden goose, they're a liability, and they can get excised, cut off immediately. I'm interested to see how this all plays out in a business perspective. And also, continuing to just be harrowed and horrified by watching this all play out.
Mm-hmm. Probably one of the most frustrating segues I'm going to be saying in a long time. In related news...
No! Yeah.
Yeah. In related news, Fulbright, the studio that made Gone Home and Tacoma, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm getting that right? Who are currently working on the game Open Roads, has had their co-founder Steve Gaynor step down from his creative lead role on Open Roads because he mistreated a whole shit ton of the women that were working at Fulbright. So to get in front of things, there are no allegations of sexual misconduct, but there's a lot of allegations of just being an absolute prick to these women.
Like workplace abuse more than anything else.
Yeah.
It's a really tough like situation to talk about. I don't know how much of this is worth mentioning, but it's like, we, like, us personally, Video Game Choo Choo have had like a pretty decent relationship with Fulbright and Steve Gaynor specifically, and like this stuff hits fucking hard for us. Like this sucks to hear. Like solidarity with the workers. What essentially has happened right now, which might be in the best possible scenario for the time being, is that Steve Gaynor has essentially been sequestered on his own to continue writing for Open Roads, but he has no contact with anyone else in with any other employees that were previously working under him. So he's just kind of like on an island on his own doing work, which, like, when it comes to the founder of a company, like the kind of like legal hell that you have to go through in order to like even have some, like, to oust like the founder of a company would be much more difficult than what they've already managed to do, especially because Fulbright is a company that does not have like they were answering to Annapurna, but like Annapurna is not like, Annapurna was like their publisher. Like they're not like an owner. They're not like an owning stakeholder. It's like you can't. They're like there were very few people. There were very few like ways for people to like speak up about what happened within the company. Which it seemed like what was happening repeatedly was there was a pattern of mostly women. Like pretty much 100% women who like would get hired to work on their games, and they would present, like, they would constantly get talked down to by Gaynor. They would have like their work. They would have their work like they would specifically have their work questioned and like, laughed at, like a whole bunch of like really awful boss stuff to happen. And then like this like pattern developed where women would get hired and then leave the company within a few months, and that's just like kept happening over and over and over again.
Yeah, like there's a quote, there was a Polygon article that went through all of this. The quote here is, working for him often felt like working for a high school mean girl. His go-to weapon was to laugh at other people's opinions and embarrass them in front of other people. Like,
fucking awful.
It just sounded like he was constantly demeaning people, constantly just treating them like garbage instead of treating them as equals. There were people that, had problems with how he centered himself as Fulbright.
Right.
Like, for example, his Twitter account for the longest time was at Fulbright, and he just recently changed it from that because enough people were saying, we're uncomfortable that you're basically using the official account for our studio as your personal Twitter account. Like, you are not the studio, you are just one man. And like, he was saying that Open Roads was his game, and so he's out there writing these games about women. He's like, he made, Gone Home was a game about women. Open Roads is a game about women. And like, obviously he's working on it, he's writing it, but like, he's out there taking all this, like basically trying to like be a mouthpiece, be a like representative for women when he's not one, and he's just trying to talk over all of them. And, he's not just doing that in public, he's doing that in private at the studio, talking over all these women, not letting them do what they want in these games,
Part of that comes from being pedestaled as an auteur in within the company and within indie games at large, which is it's amazing how this happens at the same time as Activision Blizzard stuff. The juxtaposition makes some things, it magnifies a lot of things, but it also kind of lines up in some really interesting ways. So you have Activision Blizzard, and then you have Annapurna Fulbright, where the relationship between Annapurna and Fulbright here is that Fulbright, quote, kind of didn't have problems, but these were things that were, manifesting in the background behind the scenes for quite a while until Annapurna came in as an outside group and was like, hey, these are like structural problems. You are overturning women faster than anyone else we've ever worked with and at a rate that is alarming and strange and not normal.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of interesting seeing that side of things and just seeing how, a publisher has a lot of different hands involved in any kind of developer's relationships. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if this would have come up to light if it wasn't for Annapurna's, stepping in and helping with this, because they want Fulbright to succeed. And if that means getting rid of Steve Gaynor, that means getting rid of Steve Gamer. And that's, the right way to go about things. What's going on here, though, how it like juxtaposes with the Blizzard stuff is that from what I can see, it feels like a very similar kind of Rockstar-ism that's happening at a much smaller scale. And so the heartbreaking part of this is that we know that Fulbright, we've seen how they've grown over time, and it isn't necessarily that it's always been like this. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, there's ways that this can actually change in a way where, Activision Blizzard, they need to clear house. They need to, flush all of this trash out to dry at the top levels of the whole business. Fulbright, though, it's a smaller company, and there's ways to work this to where, if there's a better way that involves, keeping people hired, we could see different solutions because it's a different size of a problem, a different type of problem.
Yeah, the ideal,
even if it comes from the same place,
would be Steve Gaynor getting ousted, but it seems like they're trying not to do that in a way that is relatively smart, and is sort of the best for everyone at the moment. But we'll see how well that relationship really works with Steve Gaynor still actually working there. And it's who knows? Maybe Open Roads comes out and then that's the point where he's actually gone,
Yeah.
That's probably the most likely thing to happen, honestly.
Sure.
If Open Roads comes out and then Steve Gaynor is still with that company, then that is a failure process.
Right.
Yeah. Solon, speaking on the thing that you said about the deification of Steve Gaynor, I saw something on Twitter that was I was so baffled by it. I'll be honest, I've been really just frustrated and aggravated and confused by so many things that people are sharing lately, just because it's just the way that I sit there and think about it. I just sit there and I just think, how could these people live with themselves? Mm-hmm. I just think about if someone told me that I was, bothering them, making them feel uncomfortable, I fucking hate when that happens. Yeah. I can't imagine doing something, so I can't imagine how someone can, there was the story of Blizzard of just men watching people watching women breastfeed, and it's just I can't imagine that. What the fuck is wrong with you? How do you not go home and shoot yourself? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
And so there was a fucking story from GDC where men were it was, I think, GDC 2017, which is not that long ago, where men were going around, and this was when GDC was letting people making it standard to put your pronouns on your name tag, and people were going around putting, my pronouns are Steve Gaynor. A, transphobic, B, one of the least funny things in the history of mankind. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Why do you think that's cool? If someone came up to me, if I was at GDC, and they were like, hey, wouldn't it be funny? I would just say, no, it's not funny. What are you talking about? Are you crazy? That's not a joke. That's stupid.
Definitely something that did not age well at all. No. Oh, God. I mean, rotten milk from the get-go.
Even if it didn't age poorly, it's not even a fucking funny.
No,
it's just
not.
Stupid.
Yeah,
it's random.
It's just rude and mean.
It's just rude. So, these are the kinds of people that need to be ousted from the community, not just the people that are the Steve Gaynors, but the people that are putting, you know what?
Or they need more than a fucking slap on the wrist. Like, they need people to sit them down and tell them, you are fucking up big time.
Yeah, like, the people, like, you all just said that, it's a fucking rotten milk situation here, but in a way, all of those guys that were walking around with those my pronouns are Steve Gaynor, that might as well just be like, yeah, I'm just like Steve Gaynor, and I need to get my shit fixed because I'm perpetrating these fucking horrible things in this industry. Like, it's just a brand that they deserve to have on them, So, yeah, it's frustrating. It's fucking rancid. I'm sick of it. I'm glad that there's people speaking out, and that, it's gonna be really, really rough. It's gonna be really, really rough for a long time. But, this is the only way that it gets better.
Yep, 100% on that.
Do we want to talk about some bad business stuff, or do we want to talk about some weird shit? I don't know. There's a lot of just like frustrating news.
I'm gonna be honest. I want to hear about Great Ace Attorney.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Come on, John. Right. Tell us about Great Ace Attorney.
Okay, we want to talk about Great Ace Attorney. I'll talk about Great Ace Attorney. Okay. So I'm in the middle of the third chapter in Great Ace Attorney. The third case, I should say.
Those usually have 5 in them. Like, they're pretty solid with it being kind of like a 5-act structure to every game.
So I will say, I don't know if I'm making it up. It kind of feels like this is a little bit shorter than the average Ace Attorney game, but this does contain both Great Ace Attorney 1 and 2. So that's, it's plenty of game. I'm not complaining. So yeah, I'm like halfway through the first game of the 2. And I will say this one definitely feels like, usually, there's like a little bit of like I don't want to say learning curve, but there's usually like there's some bumps here and there where they're trying to figure out like the new mechanics that they're introducing, because they introduce a bunch of new mechanics in this game. But I will say they're handled very well. I like pretty much everything that they've added in this game. I like all the characters. I'll kind of go over what this is. So this is a compilation of 2 games that came out on the 3DS. They are prequels, like super prequels. They are based around Phoenix Wright's ancestor Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Back in I want to say it's like the late 1800s of Japan, maybe a little earlier than that. I don't know. I'm bad with time. Maybe like early 1900s. I think early 1900s maybe.
Do they have electricity?
I'm bad with that kind of stuff. They got electricity, yes.
I think that would be the early 1900s then.
Okay, early 1900s.
Good benchmark.
Yeah. So around the early 1900s, it is about the basic structure of the world is that Japan has opened its borders, and the Japanese government is trying to get in good with Britain, because Britain is like currently like the leader of the world, basically. And so there's a lot of this game is very, very focused on, the growing pains that Japan went through, trying to be recognized as a global power, the growing pains of trying to be, recognized by other global powers as an equal, because, there is a lot in this game that touches on anti-Japanese racism. It's extremely fascinating that they went in as hard as they did. I've heard that 2 goes in harder than 1, which is surprising because like everyone is very racist to you in this game.
Okay. But
the thing that I really appreciate though is that they went out of their way to make this as authentic as they possibly could. Like the characters that are voiced by, or like the characters in the game that are Japanese, even in the English dub, they went out of their way to like find Japanese voice actors and have them like really lean into their Japanese accents, whenever they talk. I think that's really, really, really good. Just like it's like very apparent, and it makes it really, bounce off of the folks who are, they're just doing like British accents and all that, but I think it fits really well. They also, in the writing, paid a lot of attention to how the Japanese characters would talk to each other and how they would talk to the British people. Like, for example, like, Ryunosuke will, if he's talking to somebody from Japan, like, he'll call them, like, Susato-san, all that stuff. But if he's talking to, like, Herlock Sholmes, he'll just say, oh, Mr. Sholmes, or they'll, like, they switch between those ways of talking. So
that's really cool. A little bit of code switching in there.
Yeah. Like, the translation did a fantastic job keeping up with that. Like, the translation is so good. There have been multiple interviews with the translator. I don't know her name off the top of my head, but there have been a lot of interviews talking about how, like, in depth she went, how much she, like, really wanted to make this authentic, and it's really well done. Yeah, like, they very much wanted this to be an important thing because they knew that they were tackling some heavier topics here, and they wanted to make it something that, people, wouldn't feel like shafted by this. They wanted to, like, really showcase how, like, it's fucking wild too. It's still Ace Attorney, there's all kinds of crazy shit going on. It's still hilarious. But they do absolutely tackle some heavier stuff in this game that I really appreciate. There's still some great, Ace Attorney character names. Probably my favorite one so far has been a big Russian sailor named Biff Stroganov. That's really good.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah. There's stuff like that. That's always really good. I am very much enamored with, like, I will always love Ace Attorney, and I think that so far this has been really, really good. The music is I'd say I like the music, but I have to admit that so far there hasn't really been, like, a standout track. It's just, like, pretty consistently good. But, there's less standouty stuff just because, like, I feel like they wanted to make it more consistent because they wanted to have all the music sound, like, most of the songs in, like, the courtroom and, like, when you're going around have, like, a very, like, early 1900s, late 1800s, like, Japanese, like, style to it. So it is very much trying to just ape off of that era, and it's not really trying to, like, go for the sort of, like, dancey stuff that, like, Ace Attorney goes into when you're, when you're getting, like, you're doing your turnabout. I mentioned it briefly, but I love the animations in this game. Like, everyone is so colorful, and I think they've really figured out how to make the 3D models move and look good. Like, they looked fine on the 3DS and all that, but I think for these games they are, like, so expressive. Like, every time Ryunosuke does that, like that face that Phoenix Wright does when shit's going bad, and he's just like, Ryunosuke does, like, this, he does, like, the same face, and it is just so good. And there's, like, little details to the animations too. Like, it is such a good thing when I noticed it. Like, it's not like anything that they're trying to hide from you, but the first case is actually Ryunosuke defending himself on a murder charge, and he is learning as he goes. He is very nervous. He's very scared throughout the entire thing. And while he does the standard Phoenix Wright desk slap, like the big, as the trial starts, when he slams on the desk, it is like a wet slap. Like, he just like his hand just slaps on the table, and he looks down at his hand like, oh God, that was so weak. It's really good. But by the end of the trial, he is slamming his hands down, and it is doing that classic desk slam noise that you get from Phoenix Wright.
Yeah, you gotta learn that. It's you can't just be a natural at it.
It's so good. It's so good. I like it a lot. I'm still chipping away at it. I feel like I don't have to sell you, because if I will say, okay, so if you're a big Phoenix Wright head, if you're a big Ace Attorney head, you've bought this already. There's no question there. But I will say, I think this could also be like a Yakuza 0 sort of situation, where I would definitely recommend, if you want to get into Ace Attorney, it'd be perfectly valid to go in with Great Ace Attorney. like that would be perfectly fine. I mean, it's also very easy to get the Ace Attorney trilogy, the bundle of 1, 2, and 3, like on Switch and on like PS4 and all that. Those are readily available as well. But you know, like either way, it would be fine. They'd have to figure out how to re-release 4, 5, and 6, and I guess also both Investigations games if they want to be really accurate, because I still stand by the claim that Investigations 2 is the best one.
That's the Miles Edgeworth one?
Yeah, that is the
Cool.
Both Investigations are the Edgeworth one, and Investigations 2 never got localized, but it's the best game in the entire series.
Wow.
So you have to go out of your way to get the English translation, but the English translation, the fan translation is fucking incredible. So you should, you know, if you haven't yet, you should absolutely check it out. But also, I feel like I am preaching to the choir there, because anyone who would do that has already. Like, the fact that it took me until like last year to play through Investigations 2 was honestly pretty crazy. Like, everyone was like, John, I can't believe it took you that long to play it. And I was just like, well, I just didn't get around to it. But
Well, yeah,
it's really goddamn good.
I'm the one you have to sell on that, because I'm the lapsed Ace Attorney fan that played through 1 and 2, and I played through Apollo Justice was great. And then I just stopped because the games were long and they kind of had the same systems every time. And so to hear that there is not only a game that has a bunch of wild, cool stuff going on with it, that feels like a Yakuza 0 kind of moment where it's like, hey, everything's new and they've really built it out in a way that feels dynamic. And it's shorter, you're saying?
It feels a little shorter, yeah.
I just want a little shorter. I don't need a whole lot shorter, just a little bit.
I completely forgot. I didn't even talk about the new mechanics.
Yeah,
I got so wrapped up in it. So because part of the game is actually set in Britain, they bring up that the British court system has a jury.
Yes.
So there's times where you have to sway the jury toward your side. Like, it comes up in the third trial. There's a point where everyone in the jury has decided that the guy is guilty, and so they're like, okay, you have one last time to appeal to all the jurors. And so what you have to do is you listen to each of the jurors and you find contradicting statements between them. So it's like some guy will be like, oh yeah, no, he totally stabbed him from the side, and then this old woman will be like, oh, but he stabbed him from above. And then you have them like argue with each other, and then once you have them arguing, you can like point out the inconsistencies and be like, no, this is actually what happened. So
right, if the jury has a fundamental misunderstanding of the trial, then you've got to figure that out. Cool.
Yeah. So, and then they also added something with the investigations, which is pretty simple, but it's still fun and cute just purely because of what it is. Because while you're investigating, you have Sherlock Holmes, the legally distinct Sherlock Holmes in this game, who has his little deductions, his Sherlock Holmes style, like looking over a person and pointing out all the things and figuring out what their deal is just from looking at them. Well, Sherlock Holmes is kind of an idiot, so he's able to. He's great. I love Sherlock a whole lot. I'm a little worried to use the term because I feel like people are misusing it a lot, but I do think Sherlock does have a lot of himbo energy to him.
Yep.
So that's that. But so he'll make his deduction, and so you like watch him do his deduction. It's like a deduction dance. He does like this big Showtime dance thing where he goes through his deduction, and then you have to go through it and correct it by looking over around the scene or on the character and be like, no, actually, she's got this thing hiding behind her hand. So that's actually what she's talking about. It's not like, you correct him. It's like a dance, like you like take part in the dance with him. It's really
so
cute,
good.
Really fun. Yeah.
Okay, so Sherlock Holmes is kind of this like between Gumshoe from the previous games and whoever your assistant is at any given time in any of the Phoenix Wright games.
You still have your assistant.
Oh, you do?
She's like they haven't said anything about her being like Maya's ancestor or whatever.
But she is, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
On.
I'd have to. I don't know.
They're holding
she kind
out
of
on
looks
you.
like them. She kind of. Okay, so she kind of sort of looks like a fae, but it's like Ryunosuke just looks exactly like Phoenix. He's got like the exact same face as Phoenix. It's not, they're not trying to hide that.
Come on, she's part of the Faye family. Come on. I guess there's only one way I can find out, huh?
I guess so. Yeah. Damn. I mean, other than fan wikis, but I still say you should try this. If you liked those early Ace Attorney games, I think diving into this one that has like built off of so many years of these games, and they have like gotten more and more out of it. Like there's some other things that if I'm trying to remember if the multiple witness thing, I think that might have been in Layton versus Phoenix Wright, which is really crazy that they added like something that's kind of major into that like side game. I think that was in that game though, because another thing that's in this is that they'll have like multiple witnesses talking, and like when you press somebody, you can like listen to them talk, and then as they're talking, one of the other witnesses might like make a face or be like, or like do something, and it's not like it's really hidden. There's like an exclamation point and all that. You'll see it.
Yep.
But you can like then like press them while you're pressing somebody else. Like it's cool. It's fun. Like none of these things are like super revolutionary, but they're just like they're more little things for you to do, more ways to keep you entertained. I do really enjoy all the little things that they've added over the years. And the writing is just sensational. You said you didn't play 3. That's one of the really good ones.
Oh, probably. Yep.
And then, 5 was pretty weak, but then, because basically what happened was, because I played, all of those, and then I didn't play Investigations 2, and then I got to 5. And 5, when I played through 5, I was like, okay, I think I'm ready for Ace Attorney to be done. I'm ready for the series to just be over. It's fine. 5 wasn't like a complete disaster, but it was disappointing enough that I was like, okay, if they never make another one, I'm fine. And then they made 6, and 6 was so fucking good. I was like, okay, never mind. They need to keep making these.
Yep. The well is not dry. It is, in fact, springing with life.
Yeah, and the reason why is because Shu Takumi actually didn't write 5. He was doing, I think that was when he was doing Ghost Trick.
Oh, that explains it.
He came back to do 6, and I think he wrote both great Ace Attorney games. So, like, Shu Takumi I'm sure there's plenty of other people that can do a lovely job doing Ace Attorney stuff, don't get me wrong, but like when Shu Takumi helps write something, it is a mark of that it's going to be good, like that's why, like, I didn't know that Layton versus Wright was, I think he probably got help writing it, but like he did a lot of writing on that game, and it's really good, this thing that just seems like it would be complete, like off the shits, like insane. It's like they actually figure out how to make it work really well, I love Ace Attorney. I know. Fucking love Ace Attorney.
I'm feeling the vibes from you. This has been a very good turnaround from the news section of today's show.
Yeah. I'm really glad that they localized these games. It really seemed like this wasn't something that they were going to be able to do. There was a fan translation of the first game, and they were working on the second game, but I think, they've canceled that because now there's the official translation. And, the official translation is really good. I'd have to compare the two, but, I don't want to say, like, oh, fuck the fan translators, but, like, this official translation has gone, like, above and beyond. It is honestly the kind of care that you usually only see in those fan translations. The kind of thing where you're like, yeah, like, I care so much about this franchise, I care so much about where this is coming from that I put in that effort. It's that sort of thing that you only really see, like, for people that already really care about those games. So it's really inspiring that, like, it seems like they, like, hired a big Ace Attorney fan to bring to translate this game. And it's a good feeling. It's a great game. I'd recommend it if you like visual novels, if you like mystery games. There you go. Great Ace Attorney should be up your alley. Should we do more news?
There's more news, and it's pretty good. There's some interesting stuff that's been happening this week.
Yeah. We could do some more news, and then we can wrap up with your stuff, so on.
Oh, talking
you
Yak?
Also went in. Yeah, we could talk some Yak.
Yak is a baby.
So, let's see here. Capcom has revealed the last DLC character for Street Fighter V. It's the 45th character. They had a summer update where they went over Oro from Street Fighter 3 and Akira from Rival Schools, who are both getting added on August 16th. They went over them. They seem, pretty fun. I'm not really super into Street Fighter 5, but they seem, good for that game. And the last character here is Luke, who is some kind of MMA-looking guy who can, shoot, slashes out of his arms. I'll admit, I don't really like how he looks. He's really generic-looking.
Looks terrible.
He looks like people are saying he looks like an SNK character. He looks like an SNK character that nobody wants to play.
You know what he looks like? Luke looks like if John Cena was the mascot for a string cheese company.
Sure, yeah, he does kind of look like John Cena.
He's got this American kind of thing going on, but he's also got this blonde, lanky hair going out the top. So he kind of looks like that string cheese mascot.
Yeah. So they specifically mentioned that he is he's a peek at the future of the Street Fighter series. So he might be there was a bunch of talk that the only reason why they did another season of Street Fighter 5 characters is because Street Fighter 6 got, delayed due to COVID. It sounds like they wanted to just go into making 6, but couldn't. So, Luke was probably a character they were going to add to 6. Or, he's probably going to be, a main character to 6. And now they're just yeah, let's just put him in 5 as, a sneak peek for 6. And they're going to talk more about him sometime before he releases in November. But I just think it's really telling that people almost immediately started being okay, but what if he was this character? What if he's actually secretly this guy? Because there's a character called Luke who was originally going to be in that Capcom All-Stars game that got canceled, that 3D fighter that got canceled, and then they had to make Capcom Fighting Evolution, that really shitty crossover game. Just really quick off the scraps of that. There's a character called Luke from that game, so people were oh, is it secretly him? Are they bringing him back here? And then there were some people who were thinking because he's got he's very heavily Capcom themed, he's got, blue and yellow, gear
yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And, if you slick back his hair all the way, instead of having all the strands, and then put him in some armor, he does kind of look like Captain Commando.
Really?
So people are just thinking, people are thinking that he might be Captain Commando, a young Captain Commando. I don't know, but again, I think it's really telling that people were, immediately trying to make him more interesting by making him a different character,
That's so funny. Captain Commando. Oh, Capcom. I get it. Yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's fighting style is it's very snappy. It almost looks like it's cheating next to Ryu. And there's some weird there's kind of a Guilty Gear vibe I get off of just the way that he's got these little close-up strikes that have huge hitboxes on them. He's throwing some it gives a ton of weight to his punches that is not what I necessarily associate with Street Fighter as much as I would Guilty Gear, because it's just so over the top in how a little punch has a ton of weight to it. It's cool. I actually kind of like watching him in motion more than I did seeing the initial screenshot of him.
I think largely a lot of Street Fighter 5 looks better in motion, but also that art style just sucks ass. It's just bad. The bad way to render
yellow and
characters,
blue.
it looks terrible. Everyone looks the dirt worst.
I was kind of thinking, since you were brought this up immediately talking about the this being the last DLC, that Street Fighter 5 has been out for a long time now. Mm-hmm. And despite what I would agree, Scott, that I turned off of Street Fighter 5 immediately because it does not look super great. Despite that, they kind of came through in the end. They figured out, how to get Street Fighter 5, get people into it, and people came around in a big way on this game.
Did
they? More than you would expect. A game that was immediately panned. The beginning of Street Fighter 5 was the dregs of Street Fighter, the lowest that the series had ever seen.
I wouldn't say the lowest ever.
Yeah, I'm not a
but
huge fighting games guy or like specifically a Street Fighter guy, but it's like, and I know tons of people did eventually get into it, like probably just by virtue of it being the Street Fighter game that exists right now. But it's like every single time I heard about Street Fighter 5, like over these past few years, it's just like, it's gotten worse. They fumbled it again. Like, it was just always just a swarm of negativity around it. And maybe that's just like, the kind of news that actually sells. But who knows?
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to get a gauge on things right now because we haven't had like big Street Fighter tournaments or anything because we can't. Mm-hmm. But it feels like the vibe that I've gotten is that despite, every time a news thing comes out, people got to get their hot takes in about Street Fighter 5 especially. They've kind of been growing a small audience. They've been bringing people back in over time, and I see more people playing and streaming Street Fighter 5 than I did a long time ago. That's for sure.
Sure.
And
I don't know how. Someone's right.
It worked somehow. They figured it out, I guess. I'm guessing, because you're right that every news cycle that hit Street Fighter 5, a new thing would come out and everyone would be like, "Oh, here we go again," and.
No, yeah, like Street Fighter 5 is nowhere near as popular as, like Street Fighter 2 and 3, obviously, but like Street Fighter 4 was a phenomenon and it saved fighting games, and Street Fighter 5 is very much just another, like Street Fighter 5 isn't dog shit, but it is very much just another fighting game that like it absolutely would not have continued as far as it had if it wasn't for Capcom pushing it as because
if it wasn't
it's Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if it wasn't Street fucking Fighter, it would not have 45 characters, like it wouldn't be, it wouldn't still be at EVO. It's still, it is absolutely, like that game is absolutely still being carried by its name. And
I think most of it also comes down to that this game finally has 45 characters in it, and, someone's gonna find something for them.
I mean, yeah, but it would not have made it to that.
No.
If it wasn't for being a Street Fighter game, they would not have had the opportunity to keep polishing it. Because
I just think that's how SF5 managed to pull out of the tailspin that they were in. Was eventually they got enough characters in that someone found something they liked.
Yeah, and the beta was like I remember that fucking beta. That was horrible. That was like legit one of the worst experiences I've had with a video game, and it was a beta, but it was it was fucking bad.
So basically I guess I'm saying that watching Capcom ride the long tail for Street Fighter 5 has been really interesting to watch. Mm-hmm. That you can make a game that, doesn't look great. It's ugly game, and they figured out a way to get people to keep playing through it, and they kept supporting it, and just through like sweat and determination, they got Street Fighter 5 to something where they can now build a legacy for Street Fighter 6, and we can just cross our fingers and hope that one doesn't look like Street Fighter 5. Because, it won't. Every Street Fighter has looked extremely different. Every numbered Street Fighter has, changed how it looks completely. So we're going to get something new. And apparently this blonde string cheese looking dude's going to be in it.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. So, in some frustrating and weird and just baffling news here, we got another record-breaking video game sale here.
No! No! What's the big number?
So last month, a copy of Super Mario 64 sold for $1.56 million. And now, a copy of Super Mario Brothers, the original, has sold for $2 million on the website. Let me see. It was on a site called Rally, which, here's the kicker. This did not sell to a single person. This was sold to multiple buyers through shares to investors.
Oh,
no.
Awesome.
So people invested in this copy of a game instead of just buying it.
Oh my god, money is so fake.
So I'm just going to read I'm going to read this bit from this Polygon article here. Rally's business is investors can purchase Rally users can purchase shares of expensive collectibles like vintage baseball cards, comic books, etc., and instead of buying them outright. Collectibles that sell at high price through rally can result in a return on investment. In this case, investors reportedly received a roughly 900% return in their shares.
Truly insane.
Okay. So this copy of Mario 1 did not sell for $2 million. This copy of Mario 1 sold shares of itself.
So, okay, I was wrong. What I meant, what really happened...
Oh, yeah.
What really happened was people bought shares of this game, and then someone paid $2 million for this game, and then that $2 million was split to those who had bought shares.
Oh, there's some fraud going on in there.
I don't know. I don't necessarily know if it's fraud. Like, the collectible market is truly insane right now, and the fact that like this like specific copy of this like specific version of Mario, which as I understand it was like professionally graded, was like an extremely rare limited run print. Like,
not a one of a kind, though.
Yeah,
it was
not
a
one of a
limited
kind
run of an NES game that is pretty common.
Yeah,
I think this is specifically from that like test run when Nintendo was just like trying out the NES in like New York,
right?
You know, to see if it would sell. So you know, it is rare.
There's no way you can convince me that this has some kind of intrinsic value that isn't just. It is valuable because it was valuable. And that hearing that it was shares being bought out is the proof of that. Is that the buying out of those shares meant that, you know, someone needed their shares to get bought out and someone needed to move those shares quick.
This is sort of
something's happening here.
This is sort of the high end of collectible trading, though, is the thing. Like for a lot of people, it's just like, I want to own this rare copy of this thing, and they buy it and they own it forever. But like for most people, it's like for most of the market, it's like you buy a valuable thing because you want to sell it for a higher price, and that's that's how these things get moved around, and that's how like a copy of Super Mario Bros., a game that is not worth $2 million, even as rare as this version of it is like gets like so many people like up in arms about it because everyone's trying to get a cut of it. Like, there's money to be made in something like this, which I don't necessarily, I don't want to call that fraud. It's just like, it's the way these kind of markets move.
Oh, no, yeah. Sorry, I don't think that the transaction itself was the fraud. I think that somewhere on the way down between those shares, someone's moving they are liquidating their money in some interesting ways.
Allegedly, we can't make claims like that. That is...
You're right, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be. I'm in so Yakuza brain where everything feels like a conspiracy. You're right. I'm in a place where we are talking about news stories, and I shouldn't just be throwing stuff out, but like, man. People, now, there is something to be said that, someone will absolutely buy this for $2.5 million so that they can say they own the $2 million Super Mario Bros.
Yeah.
And then, someone will buy that for $3 million so that they could say they own the $3 million copy of Super Mario Bros., even though it's just another copy of NES Super Mario Bros. That you can get anywhere.
I think, like, once the actual value of it deflates, which, you know, it's hard to gauge on something like this because most like one of a kind or like limited collectibles tend not to depreciate in price. But I think when it comes to video games, which are so easily reproducible in a way that is like, in a way, I guess maybe not in the same sense for like a collectible version of this, but like like nobody is playing this copy of Super Mario. Like nobody is buying this to play Super Mario.
No, yeah, of course not.
No,
and like I don't know. I feel like there's a point at which like there's going to be a break even point for this kind of high end sale, because you said these were sold for like a 900% return. That's like a truly ludicrous amount of money for $2 million, like for something that is ultimately $2 million. Like it's just like true. It's just like purely insane.
Yeah.
I just like do it. Like, I don't understand, like,
Well, they got the news that they were looking for. That's for sure.
I don't understand.
New benchmark, 2 million. Who's got the next game?
Yeah, I feel like though there's a point where like something like this can only get so valuable. Like it's not going to go. Like it's not going to go up. It's not going to get exponentially more valuable. And then probably at some point somebody's going to own it and just own it for the sake of owning it. So I don't know.
John, you know a little something about the used game market. Does this affect the used game market in any way?
Yes, it does. That was what I was going to say next, actually. This does kind of trickle down to that. Like, the whole, there's the whole problem with trading cards, which, for fuck's sake, of course, that has to be my other hobby. That has made it more difficult to buy those because people want to pull the rare cards. There's those problems. But for video games now, it is, games that were a little expensive, your rarer games, your Silent Hill 2 on PS2, rarer GBA games, your Pokemon games on GBA and DS. Those have all skyrocketed because people want to just have those in a collection. They want to just have those to have them, not to play them. I just remember going to a used game store when I was on vacation and just, my jaw was on the floor at all the prices. Like, nothing was anywhere near this expensive, a year ago. And it is, because, people are just inside and, want to have these things to try to flip them. They want to try to make some money off of that. And it's very frustrating when you're someone like me who does want to collect them, but also wants to play these games, I was so lucky that our friend Ari was getting rid of some games, and she gave me a deal on a copy of Pokemon Emerald, which I think I paid her $75 when it normally goes for 90, or it went for 90, and then a month later after she had sold it to me, it was $150.
What?
And it just it had almost doubled.
Oh.
So yeah, it's just, it's insane. These game prices are insane, and these aren't even some of these games are rare, don't get me wrong, it's always going to be expensive if you want Solo Robo or Rule of Rose or, all these other extremely rare games, don't get me wrong. But there's so many copies of Pokemon out there. There has to be a bubble pop. There has to be a bubble pop sometime for some of these things. There will always be things that hold some value. But I can't imagine that people are going to keep shelling out, almost $200 for a Game Boy Advance game that, A, you can just get wherever, and B, it is still extremely easy to download those games, and that is something with Nintendo that is a problem that keeps Nintendo games expensive, is that they still haven't done virtual console releases for a lot of things. Super Nintendo games went down in price for a good while because they were being put out on a virtual console, and with the way that the Switch works now, a lot of those games are going back up in price purely because of the collector's market, but they're not skyrocketing. They're just getting kind of expensive, which is frustrating. You used to be able to get Super Metroid for $20 and now it's 50, 60.
Right.
And I mean, sure, you could just download Super Metroid, you could pirate it, or you could just, play it on Switch Online, or whatever. There's all different ways to do it. But people still want to own those old games, and the collector's market is just driving the prices up more and more and more and more, and it is very, very frustrating. And, another example, people keep talking, oh, you should get a Wii U so you could play all the Metroid games. I bought Zero Mission and, Fusion for GBA a year and a half ago, and I played through those and I love them, and I think I spent $30 each on each of them, which that's a bit of money, but that's not insane. And now if you want to get Zero Mission, it's $100 something bucks, for Zero Mission. It's prices are just really, really bad right now. I don't know, I don't have the answer. It's very frustrating. And all I can hope is that the prices go down, because I probably can't buy, retro games right now. There's no way I could do that. It's way too expensive. It's an extremely expensive hobby.
Man, we gave millennials some money after boomers are dying out, and this is what they do with it? Aw, man.
I guess so. Let's see here. Next bit of news here. Scott, I think you could probably talk quite a bit more on this. But PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has changed its name.
Yeah,
it is... I guess you could just talk about what this is.
You want me to do the honors?
Please do. I feel like I'm going to fuck it up somehow. Just please. What is this game called now?
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has changed its name to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Did you stutter? Was that a...
No, that's real. Because, so the reason behind this is that they are officially, like, using PUBG as the branding, for their games going forward. So it's PUBG Battlegrounds. It's PUBG Battlegrounds. So PUBG still stands for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
They have an upcoming title, PUBG New State. I haven't actually looked that much into it. But I remember there was another game, also set in the PUBG universe that was, announced at E3 not that long ago. It was like a game by the Dead Space people, yes. Project Calypso.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm kind of mad that this is actually kind of a helpful designation.
Yeah.
If there's more PUBGs coming out going forward, that having one called PUBG Battlegrounds, that's actually kind of helpful for me.
I mean, but, like, I wouldn't... I would think they would just call it, like, a PlayerUnknown's blank. Like, even if he didn't actively work on it.
He would be a new Tom Clancy.
Yeah, like you know, it's...
Yeah, I don't know what PlayerUnknown's association with the PUBG brand is at this point. I think the thing that mostly annoys me is that they had at one point set up a really great URL called lore.pubg.com. And now that just redirects to their PUBG-Universe website. And it annoys me because I just want to go directly to the lore.
Scott, you're always thinking for the people, you know?
Yeah.
We want the lore.
Apparently, PlayerUnknown Brandon Green left leading development in 2019, so he's not been a part of PUBG for about 2 years.
Right, so they're probably trying to get as much distance from PlayerUnknown as the title as possible by starting to turn that into PU and then turning PUBG into...
But they can't call it PU Battlegrounds. So they have to call it PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Just an excellent name. Fuck. Like, I really caped for PUBG when it came out because I feel like it had a very unique, like it being essentially the first mainstream battle royale game is one thing, but it also kind of had a very unique tone and setting that like every other battle royale game just hasn't tried to chase, and they've in fact like gone the other way and tried to like streamline battle royale in such a way where you don't get these like 30-40 minute games where like the first 20 minutes are spent just like wandering around, like trying to collect whatever you can, just not seeing anyone on this huge map, and then like maybe seeing a blip of someone over in the distance, but you can't really tell because it's just like a black dot. But it's like you don't really get that from like any other like mainstream battle royale games. And PUBG over time has, I don't want to say moved away from it, because there are still a lot of like, you can still play that older map, and you can still essentially play that same game, but, like, they've moved to a couple smaller maps, and they've also moved to more, like, mainstream collaboration stuff. Like, there's this one here where they've apparently collaborated with I believe it's the band Blackpink. which appears to be a K-pop band. I can't tell for certain, but it's that kind of stuff where they're trying to make PUBG a very mainstream brand. And it's such a strange thing because it came from such an interesting and unique niche kind of game. Like the beauty of PUBG was it's a game where you have unique buttons for like crouching and going prone, and like reloading was not just like one, like or like aiming was not just like a one button thing. Like,
right, because this comes from PUBG came from the tactical
from
shooters
Arma specifically
subgenre.
Yeah.
A really niche genre in and of itself.
And then it
blew up big.
Yeah, that was like the beauty of it. And then, you know, they've just tried to chase like popular trends, and they've made it goofier over time. Like they've added more costumes that are just like, what if you wore like a bear head? Or like one of the more recent ones, which is really egregiously bad, was oh my god, I forgot about this, the Hypnospace outfit, which is a word. Right. The word Hypnospace is not like a word that exists outside of the context of the game Hypnospace Outlaw. So they have just like straight up jacked that intellectual property for a like really generic like Overwatch hero looking outfit. It's so tragic what has happened to this game. And now it's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Fucking insane.
Truly.
Fucking insane.
I love that it infers that inside of the Battlegrounds there's another smaller Battlegrounds.
Isn't that true of us all?
Yeah.
A last bit of news here is another bit of frustrating news. Unity has quietly updated their publishing restrictions to make it so you can only publish on consoles if you are a Unity Pro member.
Yeah, this is a really annoying thing to read, especially as someone who is working on a game in Unity right now. This was a really annoying piece of news. Essentially, what they've done is that for newer versions of Unity going forward, you cannot you cannot publish a game on consoles without a Unity Pro subscription. And the reason that's such a big deal is because like Unity Pro licenses are like really prohibitively expensive if you are a single user. It currently costs $1,800 a year per person. So that's per person too. Like if you have multiple people on your team who are using Unity, that's like, you're throwing money down the drain. And on top of that, dev kits for a lot of consoles are also very expensive, with the exception of the Switch. The Switch is like a couple $100 actually. It's like $400. So like if you're really curious as to why there's been this recent wave of a lot of newer indie games coming out on the PC and the Switch and nothing else, it's because like a lot of these teams are small and they can't afford a lot of these, like they can't afford these dev kits for testing on like PlayStation and Xbox consoles, but they can do it on the Switch because like drop $400, you can get a dev kit, and then you can make sure your Unity game works on a console that is like not that difficult to publish on either. I think the publishing cost is like $100 or something. Like it's extremely low. Like the barrier for entry of getting on the Switch is not very high. Right. But now with this Unity Pro, is like now you are suddenly, that door is just closed. Like if you are someone who is developing on Unity and has been regularly, like, and you are not, and you're like a poor developer who like, you know, is just struggling to get your game available, like you're pretty much just like slapped in the face. Like
that's if you have so bizarre.
Yeah, if you have like a big enough company to do it, like then then it's like then it's not really a problem for you. But even then, like even if you're a larger company, $1,800 per person is still a really steep price. It's like it's really frustrating because there are a lot of up and coming developers who are using Unity and are trying to just like get something out there in front of people, and now this possibility, getting something out on the Switch, is just like closed off to them, and that is like such an annoying thing. On top of that, apparently it is just for versions going forward. If you are currently working on a project that it's on an older version of Unity, then you should still be able to publish no problem. I wonder if that's going to encourage some kind of version control where people are only working on like an older version of Unity. I don't necessarily know. We'll kind of have to see as things go on, but it's still a really awful thing for a lot of indie developers.
This is going to end up pushing a lot of those developers to other systems, to competitors to Unity.
It depends, because like the strength of Unity is that it's very flexible and you can make a whole bunch of very different types of games on it. Like if you're moving to Unreal Engine, then you're most likely going to be working in 3D. But Unity gives you the capacity to work in both 2D and 3D. And like, there's a ton of different packages out there to make the kind of game that you want to make. There are other engines out there you can work on, but the reason Unity has stayed popular is its flexibility.
And that it's, free, accessible,
yeah.
The low cost, low barrier of entry.
Right.
Which, that's really weird, because another big part of Unity's, like, path of getting into it is that it is a little more obtuse than most of the other game makers that are out there. It's a lot more obtuse. But because you can, access it for free, you can get into the obtuseness of it, figure your way through it to make it easier for yourself, and then keep working from there and get a lot of, mileage out of it. I feel like this is going to be something that doesn't just alienate the people who are currently using it, but also it's going to alienate people from, wanting to try to get into Unity.
Well, you still have the possibility as someone who is like developing in Unity, like the free version of Unity, to like,
you can still do PC stuff.
Yeah, you're still going to be able to make a game and put it out there. It's just like the possibility of putting it out on consoles is suddenly like drastically way more limited.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't necessarily know if Unity's popularity is going to go down. Unity is still an engine that's also used by a bunch of other larger companies. Like, it's not just an indie thing who they're like, their accessibility to like getting Unity Pro licenses for all their developers is way more realistic than, person who's developing their first video game.
Yeah. Yep. Yikes.
That is a real shame.
It's annoying.
Solon,
hey,
do you want to wrap this up by talking a little bit about Yak?
You know what? Yeah, let's wrap this whole thing up with a little Yakuza.
Just a little bit.
Just finished all of Yakuza.
Mm-hmm.
All of it.
Well, asterisk, of course, but Yakuza is a very big series. There's a lot of little spin-offs. But in 31 days, through the entire month of July, from July 1st to July 31st, I had 1 hour left. I finished Yakuza Like a Dragon, the newest Yakuza game, and that cleaned out the entire series. It was, so, you know how, like, we do this thing where we play video games, and we're kind of, like, usually looking for a game that really affects us deeply. This life-changing game that just makes you go, wow, having played that has changed how I think about games and how I think about the world around me.
Sure, we're always chasing for art that moves us and challenges us in some way.
I feel like that's a part of this, right? Well, I was expecting the Yakuza series to be good. I was maybe expecting it to be a little in that kind of vein where it's like, wow, this is really changing my outlook on things. I was not expecting every entry of the Yakuza series to feel like a life-changing event. And They did that. Talking about the series at the highest level from Yakuza, we played Yakuza 3, 4, and 5, and then we played Yakuza 0, Kiwami 1, and Kiwami 2, and then we played Yakuza 6 and Yakuza Like a Dragon. That was the order, because that's kind of along the current modern release order of how Sega made these games in their current iterations. And also it's like a really good way to play through the series, because you really understand everything going through the games if you start at 3 and work your way through it in that direction. Because Kiwami 2, the second Yakuza game, lines up to Yakuza 6 almost perfectly. Because through 3, 4, and 5, you don't hear about, they're called the Jingwan Mafia, the Korean Mafia. You don't hear about them in any of those games except for Kiwami 2 and 6, where they're like the main thing. And so those plot lines are completely connected. It was kind of incredible how much that worked lore-wise and how much it worked systemically. All the systems just watching Sega grow over time into this series that just becomes bigger and bigger with every iteration of the open world thing that they're doing. It's amazing. It was exactly as good as everyone said it was, and if not even better, all the way up to Like a Dragon, which was a mind-blowing game. How it is a perfect blend of the Yakuza, like, open world style of being able to express your macho, sensitive, beat up the whole world, but also give the world your entire heart. It expresses all of that within this turn-based system that is itself a love letter to pretty much every role-playing game that came before it. Every major, like, franchise role-playing game. And it just hit ahead because, like, the game itself makes reference to Dragon Quest constantly. It wants you to know it really loves Dragon Quest. But underneath it, they also do a ton of homages to, like, every other major role-playing game franchise. All the way down to the big finale when you get to the bottom of the Millennium Tower. I almost cried when this happened because I was so excited to get to the big tower that's in all of these games where you get to climb up it, and I was excited to do it in a role-playing game fashion. It's raining that day. Ichiban gets to the bottom of this tower, and the camera cuts to looking underneath him, which the game never does this. But this time, the camera rushes right underneath Ichiban to catch him looking up at the giant tower as lightning crashes over him, because it's literally an homage to Final Fantasy VII. So it's really good. They hit you with the Final Fantasy VII cover image with Ichiban, and I freaked out. It was awesome. It was really cool. Every, character that's been in this entire franchise is my best friend. Except for literally one person in Yakuza 4 who was just like, I don't remember who they were. They're just kind of a nothing protagonist that happened. I could not be more happy to have spent so much time with such a special series of games. And, it was a good time. It was $1 of Xbox Game Pass really well spent. And I guess I'm looking forward to the next Yakuza game that's coming out is Judgment 2, right? But I haven't played Judgment. You could check out Judgment. I would say, keep an open mind about that one. But I feel like if you, so I just mean that in the way that they were very much still trying to figure out the Dragon engine. Oh,
when they made that, so there's still like some just hitches here and there. But I bet Lost Judgment is what they're calling this one. I bet that one will be better. Yeah.
If it comes out.
They said it is coming out. They just said that they might not be making a third one.
It's not coming out on PC, too, is the thing.
Yeah. Oy. Yeah, they did say they're going to make a Yakuza 8, though. They said that they'll keep making those the RPG style. They said that's what they're going to do, so...
Yep, I think my crowning achievement in Like a Dragon was finding out that the Ichiban like money making minigame where you buy a bunch of properties and invest in them works really well when you sell all your properties, don't invest in them at all, and just take the 3 million yen payday at the end of the board meeting. You tell your investors, hey, yeah, our business is doing great. And they're like, oh, good job, Ichiban. Even though I'm paying like 4 employees just to run that one section of the mini game, and I'm like 12 million in the hole every single day that we run the simulation. And I'm just like, it's fine. Don't worry, investors. And then they give me 3 million yen at the end of the whole thing. I take that outside and I put it in the little Papo's Mini Mart bank, and I don't tell anyone. And it's great. It's
hey, if it works.
It's a very funny game. It has so many fun, delightful quirks to it that I was very happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like every RPG like person. Like, every party member that you have in that game is a really cool character.
Yeah.
They finally made good on what was happening the entire series, which was they brought in so many different people from around kind of that area between Korea, China, and Japan. From the north of Japan to the south of Japan, you've got a full party that is like represents all of those areas. Mm-hmm. And so it feels even more worldly and bigger in that way, because Ichiban's just friends with all of these really random people. Like, hey, I used to run a mafia. Hey, I'm just a homeless guy. Hey, I'm like your clerk in the money mini game. Let's hang out.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. I could just talk forever about it, but yeah, I feel like my life has been bettered by the entire series, and each one of them is magical and special in its own way. Except for maybe Kiwami 2. That one was the only one that kind of like, it's a stopgap between a couple of them.
People really like the villain in 2.
Oh my god, Ryuji rules.
Yeah.
Why'd they kill him?
Yeah.
He's the only foil Kiryu's ever had.
I couldn't tell you. Alright, let's do some quick questions real quick.
I have a quick question for you. We left a question for you in the box, and I don't see it here.
Oh, we answered that one already.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you do it on the anime podcast?
No, we did it on the normal ass podcast. We did it the week before.
The one that didn't come out?
No, the week before that. I promise you I answered that question. It's okay. I promise you.
Was I there for that? I don't remember this.
Wait,
Sorry.
no. Wait, maybe I did. Oh, fuck, wait.
Yeah, I left that specifically for you because I did the 2 podcasts in a row.
Fuck. I fucked up. I'm so sorry. I remember what it was.
We answered it on the last podcast too, but like I was like, this is such a John question. We can't let John not answer it.
Okay. You know what?
Give me like 5 minutes. I'll see if I can find it.
I remember what it was.
Oh,
I promise you.
Okay.
I know who it was from. I remember what it was. It's okay. All right, I'll just pretend it's still there. Okay. All right.
Quick questions, real quick. From Tumblr.
Yeah, let's go.
Tumblr.
videogamechichu.tumblr.com/ask. That is the URL. If you want to send in questions, it's there.
Yep.
First off, you all kept a question in here from last week that you specifically wanted me to answer.
Yes, I need you to answer this.
I will answer this question. So Harlequin Wills also sent in a question this week, so we'll get to Wills' second question in a moment. But Wills asked, what would be the hypest reveal trailer for a YouTube poop fighting game?
John, go for it.
Give it to me, King.
You gotta.
All right,
you're
my
the
answer.
expert in the YouTube poops, and you would know best.
So I don't know what you all answered, but this is my answer. It would be Dr. Rabbit.
How would that go? Give it to me.
So I'm just gonna say, like, what is in the trailer would, they would have a hype trailer, but all that, but it would just be the fact that whoever's making the YouTube poop fighting game reached out to Colgate and they said yes would be the most insane part of it, because like Colgate, because like YouTube poop is protected speech specifically because Colgate tried to sue Nicholas Wallstrom, aka Walrus Guy, and the reason why we know his fucking name is because he went to court and protected YouTube poop. He won against Colgate, and because he made Dr. Rabbit YouTube poops, and they kept trying to get it taken down.
Wow, thank you, Nicholas.
YouTube poop is protected speech because of Walrus Guy. So,
What a
if
phrase.
Dr. Rabbit... Yeah, so if Dr. Rabbit appeared in a YouTube poop fighting game, it would be, like, the craziest shit. Like, it would be... You know how everyone was like, oh my god, they added Cloud. Like, Cloud was this, like... You know, Final Fantasy VII was the first Final Fantasy, like, mainline game that wasn't on a Nintendo console.
Yep,
you know, there was all
the
that, like,
traditions,
oh my
all the rules, everything that you thought was allowed went out the window. You're saying the
Exactly.
Colgate Rabbit thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dr. Rabbit would be the equivalent of that. So
right,
it would
though.
be, yeah. So it would be like all the characters fighting, and you know,
List them. Who's fighting? Who's on the screen?
No, don't put him on the spot. You are a scholar, John.
I'm 100% putting him on the spot.
I could put it on the fucking spot. You could put me on the fucking spot.
I'm putting him on the spot because I know he could do this.
Oh,
because
God.
he knows. Yeah. So
shit.
Billy Mays. We got fucking Guanum. We got fucking Gaston from Beauty and the Beast.
Yep.
And Mama Luigi. You know, we just got like the full like we got like a slice of pretty much everything there. They'd be fighting, they'd be doing all their moves and shit, and you know, all of a sudden you would see like a balloon floating above them, this like rainbow colored balloon, and it would land in the middle of the stage, and everyone would like gather around the basket, and they would look inside, and then you would just see like from behind a fucking rabbit pop out of it, and he would just go, "Hello there, I am Dr. Rabbit," and then it would be like, "Holy shit, it's him!" Like everyone would flip the fuck out. That's exactly what would happen. I promise it would be the craziest shit in the history of the world.
There would be like a loud crowd noise that starts, and then it just like progressively keeps getting louder.
Yeah, it would like stutter a little bit
until it like starts to blow out your speakers.
Yeah. Holy hell! Yeah, that's exactly what would happen. So yeah, that's my answer. It would be Dr. Rabbit. That would be the hypest reveal for a YouTube poop fighting game.
Which character would represent the future of YouTube poop? Like we have that Street Fighter character that represents the future of Capcom or whatever. Who's the next starlet of YouTube poopsism?
I mean, that's kind of tricky because I'll be honest.
It's chaos.
Well,
it's a hard target to keep a thumb on.
So the first part of it, I would say, is that, I mean, obviously you can't predict the future of YouTube poop. It's just whatever. But I would say the thing that a lot of people are pooping right now, it's not really something that you could really represent very well with a character. It's mostly just like public access stuff and like shows from like whatever channel how it's made is on, like Discovery. That's what a lot of people are pooping these days. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe like fucking Wendy's corporate like presenter, because you know you could just poop all those like Wendy's things where like the person's like singing to like how hot the hot drinks need to be. Put them in the YouTube poop fighting game. There you go.
Okay.
That I feel like is the more recent poop. I mean, you know, I think you know, you got to have Dr. Robotnik in there. You know,
you're gonna have Carl Weezer in there, crossover from the other fighting game.
Sure, yeah. That does make sense. I mean, I feel like I know it's kind of a cheap answer because you know he's like such a main character, but like SpongeBob is a very pooped character, so I think SpongeBob would probably, if you wanted to like have like a crossover, SpongeBob would be the one that you would put in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go with me on this. Is there a pooped version of SpongeBob that's like legally distinct from SpongeBob itself?
Unfortunately, it's not Thug SpongeBob.
Yeah. It's not like Gangsta SpongeBob or
because it'd be
anything
really
like that.
funny to have like legally distinct SpongeBob in there because like rights or whatever, and then just have normal Carl Weezer in there.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I mean, the real answer, unfortunately, is that because it's YouTube poop, it would probably be something racist. So, yeah,
it's free expression.
Anyway, folks. Yeah, folks. We got some more questions here. Did you answer the thing that Rose sent in, or just read what she said because it's just a statement?
I believe I deleted all the stuff from last time,
Okay.
so everything should be new.
All right. Well, Rose actually sent in something really quick. I'll just read here. I'm just writing in to say that Nagi from Neo: The World Ends With You is the best. We need more brain poison Fujoshi in video games, and one finally making their way into a Nomura game is a truly tremendous feat. Thank you.
I've seen
you, Rose.
screenshots from Nagi, and she looks really cool. She's really funny.
I hope everyone out there is enjoying it Neo Tawui, because, it's been like a decade.
Yeah, it's nice that there's a Neo one of them.
Yeah. Legitimately, it is nice.
I had a friend DM me today just saying, hey, thank you for showing me The World Ends With You a year ago, because I feel like you are obviously living a life that's, a decade in the making with this new one, and I'm like, thank you.
I need to give that original another shot, but unfortunately, if I wanted to buy a physical copy of it, it would probably be like $70 fucking on the DS for the DS version, so,
I've been very validated as a Tweewee advocate, as a just feral weird person that's like, please, you need to touch your screen.
You need to play the DS version, I know.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
I know you have to play, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I might just get it somehow, so, whatever. Anyway, to answer Will's question here that he sent in this time, if you were an Ace Attorney witness, what did you do, and how does it relate to your whimsical full name? Because you're a witness here. You're not necessarily the murderer. You're like a witness that gets called to the stand. What is the thing that is related to the case, and what is your name?
My name is Greg Megabyte, and I've just been reading so much internet. I know everything from online, which is really fucked up, considering I don't think anyone else goes online in Ace Attorney.
That's true. I can't think of anyone who really talks about online in that
Isn't
series.
it set like obviously the new one is set in in 1500s London or something? I forget when.
Like early 1900s.
Early 1900s.
Yeah.
I was very off, but
very
still,
yeah.
But still, I thought the other Ace Attorney games are set in the 90s.
No, they are set in the 2010s.
Wow.
Actually, yeah. So
no one goes online.
I mean, they probably do, but they don't really talk about it that much.
It feels like you would really go online to learn a lot of stuff.
I don't know.
It feels like it would be really helpful.
I mean, that was the thing. Pretty recently, there were people tweeting oh, today's the day that blah 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 died. Today's the day that this trial happened. That was something that was going on maybe a year or two ago. So
I just mean in universe that would probably probably solve a lot of logical conclusions. I don't know. I feel like the ability to instantly look up the entire history of the world might actually help in a lot of circumstances.
I mean, yeah, I don't have the Ace Attorney timeline in front of me. I mean, I could pull it up, but I guess while I do that, Solon, do you want to talk about what character you would be?
Steve Jobs never invented internet.
I'm coming up to the witness stand, and I gotta announce myself being there. And I think it would, if I was playing off of my own name, I would have to go up there and be like, hello, I'm like a drifter coming through, all scraggly looking. And I have to tell him, all right, my name is Solon Partner. And then I just drift.
Solon Partner?
So long, partner. And they'll just read that and be like, yep, he's the drifter. And I'll have one extremely explicit key evidence point, and then I'll drift away, and then they'll have to pull me back when they find out that I was the murderer out of a freak coincidence. And then I have to pull a big face. I gotta take my drifter hat off. It pops off the top of my head, and I pull a big face. I go, "Ah!" And then I'm guilty.
I do have this very clear image of my mind's eye of you just sitting at the stand normally, it's no big deal, and then you're just welp, I'm off, and then just while you're sitting, it's revealed that you've been sitting on a horse this whole time, and you're just riding off on the horse.
Yeah. So I actually can't look at this timeline because I just realized that it has a bunch of spoilers on it, so I can't look at that. I'm sorry, everyone.
Sorry, King.
No, I didn't see anything. It's just I started scrolling down and it started listing Great Ace Attorney era, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I shouldn't look at this. I'm sorry I can't go through the Ace Attorney timeline with you all, because I'm sure it's fucking crazy. Maybe in like a week or two we can look at that. Anyway, my my name would be it would be TC Garrett, and I would be the trading card game guy, and I would I'd be a witness. I saw the murder because I was in the fucking card shop and across the street.
Yep.
And I saw it through the window.
And did you do it?
No, I didn't do it. I'm just like some dweeb. I'm just like a dweeb looking guy who's
witness.
Like, yeah, I was just there to answer some questions, and maybe I lie a little bit. Oh yeah, no, my thing is that I was lying because I claimed to be sitting on one side of the table, but actually I was sitting on the other side because it was at a point where my opponent, I could have only seen the murder if I was sitting where my opponent was sitting, because I was I was looking at his cards.
So
that's
you
how I saw the murder.
You end up reversing the murder scene. You end up doing one of those things they do in this game where the murder scene flips in directions and orientations because your character witnessed
something like that.
Oh, that's good testimony.
Yeah. That's what I would do. TC Garrett, that would be my character. Okay. Do we want to do a fuck, marry, kill?
I do. I feel like we should. I don't know what happened to our fan base, but we got a very extremely unhinged person sent us 4 or 5
FMKs,
really really bad, not really bad. They sent in a ton of questions, but they had one really real nugget of gold with a fuck, marry, kill. So we went for it, and now I'm noticing that people have followed up with even more fuck, marry, kills.
Yeah, I accidentally skipped a fuck, marry, kill that got sent into the Amazon.
The Amazon
to the anime, to the anime podcast, because it came in right at the end and I didn't see it, so we're gonna have to answer that next time.
That's such a shame. That would have been real ripe for 69.
It was the exact moment, and we fucked it up, and I'm so sorry. But we can do this one here. We got one from Anonymous who asks, fuck, marry, kill, Gex, Daxter, or Glover?
Oh, no.
Well, kill Gex. Right off the bat.
Bye.
Kill Gex? That's your answer?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? This one's really easy for me. Kill Gex right off the bat. Done. You're done. We don't have to think about you ever again. Fuck. Glover's just the hand. All you gotta do is hand stuff.
You gotta love the glove.
Gotta love the glove, yeah.
Have to love the glove. And then Daxter, I think, would be a very, loving husband. This is so,
yep.
This is just in and out. They pretty much nailed it in one. Alright,
that's your answer?
I definitely want to hear if you all have dissenting opinions, but this is
I do.
Okay, yes,
okay. Very much do.
Let's hear it, Sol.
I think Gex would be, I think fucking Gex would be kind of the play here. And if you overlook that, he's suave, he's got a lot of cool stuff going on. It's basically like fucking James Bond.
Alright, Solon, I'm gonna have to stop you right here.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm just gonna say that the only right answer is to marry Gex, because there's no premarital Gex.
I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Fucking hell.
Goodbye. I'm gone.
He left. He's out of here. Anyway, I don't love the glove. I would marry Daxter. I think Scott's completely correct
So
there.
you kill Glover?
I would love to kill Glover. Don't you think that would be the coolest shit to kill a glove? I think figuring out which finger controls the respiration to strangle Glover.
Oh God, Solon, you're going dark. Holy shit!
I just how do you work inside? Well, there's only one way to find out. I gotta kill Glover.
So you're doing this from a scientific aspect. You want to dissect Glover's cadaver,
and a little bit of the thrill of the hunt. But yeah, pretty much. Hunting Glover would be pretty fun. You gotta follow the ball tracks.
Glover.
There's so many parts to it.
I do appreciate that Mr. Domino is not listed on any of these, because you couldn't even stop him to ask for his hand in marriage, or to you can't kill him.
Can't stop Mr. Domino.
you can't stop him to like try to fuck him. So yeah, no, you couldn't stop Mr. Domino.
Solon, I have a question for you.
Hey, yeah, what's up, Scott?
In the process of fuck, marry, kill, do you personally view the kill aspect as like that is something you have to do? Like that is something you are charged with as part of the fuck, marry, kill agreement?
Not entirely. What I
but
perceive it
to
as.
Kill this glove.
Yes, that's part of this. What I perceive it as is
you're doing this for fun.
A lot of people play FMK. And their meta is like, oh, kill, it means I'm going to get rid of them. And I go, no, you have a relationship. All three of these are about relationships. You have a fuck relationship, a marry relationship, and you have a kill relationship. So to be responsible to the game, you have to kill or have some kind of relationship with the character that involves their death.
I just can't see it that way. Not when it, like,
totally
fuck, marry,
understandable.
kill. Fuck, marry, kill. When it comes to my opinion on it, is like kill is if I could snap my fingers and this person is dead, then it's just over. Like I don't necessarily have to have any kind of like relationship with them. Ideally what happens is this person just gets into a car accident and then it's it's sad. And then that's just like the tragedy that befalls them. But like, I would never pick up my sword and hunt. Well, you know what? Now that you're saying it, I probably would hunt Gex. Like, I feel like
you get so much more out of that when you do? Yeah,
but it's like that. But that's an entirely different paradigm. Like, that's me in the process of hunting Gex. If I'm in fuck, marry, kill, the blood sport aspect of it doesn't quite exist.
I understand.
Fuck, marry, kill is I have 3 suitors in front of me, and the unfortunate truth is that if I am going to get one of them, then if I'm going to get one of them to be my life mate forever, and I get to have a wild night with the other, the unfortunate reality is that the third has to die through causes like outside of my control.
Okay, so leaving this suitorship, that third person is kind of in like a final destination situation.
Right.
Where they have to walk away from this meeting of all 4 of you, knowing they're the one that's going to die. And it's just going to happen.
They don't necessarily have to know. Like, they don't have to know that they're included in the fuck, marry, kill. But I know. I know that it's happening. And that's like the level of guilt that I'm going to take away from it. Because what's going to happen is the unknown hand that guides fuck, marry, kill is going to find some sort of ironic death for them.
I see. Okay. I think that's very normal. I get that. I think that the fuck, marry, kill game.
You want to hunt the glove.
Right, because it's about, it's an illicit game. Fucking is illicit, marriage is illicit, killing is illicit. I feel like you have to try to get as much out of this game as you can, because it's all just, play. It's silly.
This is insane, but also, I'm gonna be honest, I completely respect it.
It's just two different. And they're different metas, Me and Scott kind of play these different metas.
It's two philosophies. It's two philosophies to the same core belief, and this is what great debate is all about. Like, me and Solon can have completely diametrically opposing viewpoints, but we can debate the merits of them with as equals, as peers, and still respect each other at the end of the day. And that's what makes podcasting so great.
Truly,
Scott,
it does.
I think you're going to really enjoy your relationship with Daxter, much like I will, and have a good time with Glover, I guess.
I feel like he will be an incredibly generous husband.
It's, I gotta listen to Daxter. It's the hardest part about marrying Daxter, is that you have to listen to him all the time. And I'm a patient person. You know what? Maybe you're right. I think maybe I should just have one sweet night on Daxter's hot bod and then present my ring to the glove. It would be so fun to put a ring on Glover. It would be really fun.
God, you'd be able to ride the ball whenever you want.
Glover would let you ride the ball. Oh, you're right.
Let's end this podcast.
If I kill Glover, I'd just be riding the ball alone, and how sad would that be?
Oh my god.
Just being in a weird, one of those Glover stages that's like in the liminal space in the fucking floating void, and I'd just be alone on my ball. Could ride it with Glover. Hand in hand.
The glove will fit. Folks, that's it for this episode of the show. Any questions that you sent in will be that we didn't read, we'll look at them next week. So feel free to keep sending them in. It's videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com/ask. If you want to keep following us, you can go to videogamechoochoo.com. That's the website where we, post all the stuff that we've been posting. We've been posting a lot of stuff.
There's a lot
quite
of
a few. We got a lot of reviews going up. We got more reviews coming up. By the time you hear this, there's going to be even more reviews on there. So, and then like directly after you listen to this, there's probably going to be more reviews. So there's a lot of stuff going up right now. I'd say definitely check it out. If you want to keep up with all this stuff, we have our social media. At VGCC is our Twitter. Videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com is our Tumblr, which you can also add /ask at the end of that to send in questions. Go to facebook.com/videogamechoochoo if you're a Facebook using person. We post everything on there. We have our YouTube. Just type in Video Game Choo Choo on there. Bring you there. We have our Twitch, twitch.tv/VGChoochoo. Sounds like there's going to be Back for Blood streams. Probably by the time you hear this, it'll be over, but you can watch the VOD if you so choose. We have our Discord, thegamezone.zone. Type that into your web browser and it'll bring you straight there. Come hang out with us. It's a lovely time. We're in there pretty often, just hanging out, chatting, relaxing. It's a good community. I'd like to thank Melt Channel / Magic Circuit for our themes on Crush off of the album Magic is Real. If you want to listen to their stuff, it's meltchannel.bandcamp.com and magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. You can listen to all of their stuff, their newer stuff, and their old stuff. And I saved this for the end because I particularly wanted to just give a shout out to our Patreon, patreon.com/VGCC. Get $3 a month to get all access to all of our stuff a whole week early. We have stuff like our anime podcast, Unlimited Railworks. We have stuff that goes along with our reviews sometimes, like Solon, you do your write-up things, and LV also has another write-up coming up for we watched Panty and Stocking on Unlimited Railworks, so she is doing a write-up on that.
Yeah, you get to see a lot of our behind-the-scenes thoughts.
Yeah, she really likes Panty and Stocking, so I'm interested to read her thoughts on that. And I wanted to particularly bring this up because we are working on the site redesign. It is happening.
We're making big moves.
Yeah, this is not something that I'm just talking about. This is not just something that we're planning. This is something that is happening.
Things are in works.
Mm-hmm.
So Patreon funds are going directly to this. We are using Patreon funds.
I'm pointing at you, the listener, if you've contributed to it. But also, if you're a listener and you're just listening to us and you're just hey, have you listened to the Video Game Choo Choo? It's pretty good. You probably will like it. You've done this. You are helping. And you are helping contribute to this massive overhaul that we're doing. It's truly insane.
We bought a private jet.
We brought a private. I'm not going to get into the specifics yet, but it is. I feel great about this. I'm really happy about where we are. But yes. If you want to help out, please, I don't want to ask people to contribute more than they have because, people have already contributed enough money for us to actually do this. But, anything you send us goes pretty much directly to our, full redesign, rebrand. It is, it's a very exciting situation, and I feel like this is going to go great.
Your dollar's at work.
Yeah, all of this, we have only spent money on the site with the Patreon funds. So all of this has just been going directly back into this. And, the more money we have to play with, the more stuff we can do. So that is we're just being completely upfront with this here.
We have very big plans with it, especially with regards. So, if you've gone on our website, you've probably seen some errors. We're aware of this. We know that there are some memory issues. We're doing everything we can to, help even those out. But at the same time, we're probably gonna need to move to, more expensive hosting because we get so much insane traffic from you people. Like this is entirely because people like our stuff that we need to expand upward.
LV put out a review, and good old Lena Rain from the Musics. You've heard her around the Musics.
Yeah,
retweeted it, and we posted this in the back channel. Then we were all like, "Yay!" Oh no.
We're trying to make sure
these errors. We had to massage it all out real quick and be like, okay, brace ourselves for extra traffic real quick.
Yeah,
and it's been see the site.
It's been especially daunting for me as like the person who's essentially been like the webmaster of this site for like the past few years. Just like
people don't know how much work Scott's done behind the scenes on keeping the choo-choo running.
These people, every time I do something major, I post like a thing in our Slack or our Discord. It's just like, hey, I did this. It's huge. I hope it works. But, I'm doing another one of those right now.
Hey, Scott, I know at the beginning of this podcast I disparaged you, but I feel like as a growing character moment, I should say thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Solon. I'm shaking. Thank you, John. I'm shaking both of your hands like at the arm.
Yeah, I've got the left one, John's got the right one, and we're just kind of wiggling it out,
Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to see if you have weapons, but I don't feel any.
Okay, of course. All right, well, to wrap it up, why don't you both let people know where else people can find you? Scott, go ahead, you first.
At Scott Blah on Twitter. That's SCOTTBLAH.
Okay. Solon, how about you?
Hey, you can find me at SolanFace on Twitter and on Twitch.tv. I'm probably live right now. I'm pretty much live all the time. And the next projects we've got coming up over there is I'm going to play a Link to the Past randomizer with my friend Sudo this week. And then after that, we have another Until We Beat marathon where we're going to play a certain game until we beat it. And this game is the entire Kirby series.
Huh.
Ooh.
Shouldn't take too long.
No, but there's some good games in there, though.
We've got a 3DS capture card.
Ooh, I'm jealous of that. I'm pretty jealous of that. And then you can find me on Twitter at JOHN_MICHONSKI. That's my Twitter. And that'll do it. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Video Game Choo Choo Podcast.
Chugga.
So long.